Check out these 2 leaves taken from the midsections of 2 Baxter's Bush determinate cherry tomato plants I had going spare. 6 weeks old coconut coir-based potting mix I hand-watered with Coco Tech grow up until about 2.5 weeks ago. Close to perfect growing environment, both plants very happy. Until, that is, I made a big change. Dun dun dun! So, what did I do? Well, I switched one plant's feed to pure water only. Same regular irrigation watering every day or two just when it needed it, but only using reverse osmosis water. No more nutrients. The second plant I kept feeding the regular cocoa-specific hydroponic nutrients. So, my question, which leaf came from which plant? Answer in just a moment, amigos. Right, so you've no doubt spotted that the leaf on top looks healthier and greener, whereas the leaf underneath looks kinda pale by comparison. It's also curling down a little at its tips and margins. At this stage, I'd forgive you 100% for concluding that the paler leaf belonged to the plant that I switched to the pure water nutrient starvation diet, right? Hence the pale green color. Lack of nitrogen, perhaps? Or maybe, just maybe, you're thinking, isn't this video supposed to be about overwatering, not underfeeding? The pale leaf was actually taken from the plant which remained on the regular nutrient program. However, I deliberately forgot to tell you one important detail. I overwatered it. Brutally. I basically kept this poor little puppy permanently wet day and night, sat in a saucer of its own runoff with its root zone completely sodden for over 2 weeks. So, what's happening here? Well, I can sum it all up in one word. Oxygen. Okay. 3 words. Lack of oxygen. Overwatering is not so much the problem of too much water in the root zone as it is too little oxygen. When container plants are overwatered, oxygen levels around the roots fall because the majority of the air in the soil has been displaced with, you got it, water. Water clings onto the particles that help make up your potting mix. The smaller the particles, the more water it can hold. So what's the big deal with oxygen in the root zone? Well, you already know that plants use energy from light to grab carbon dioxide from the air and convert it into energy building blocks called carbohydrates. There's also this sort of mirror process called cellular respiration that also occurs in plants. They take some of those carbs, between 30 and 60% of those created by photosynthesis and oxygen around the root zone, acts as a sort of electron receptor. This results in carbon dioxide, water, and a bunch of biochemical energy. Woohoo! The energy released from the oxidized carbohydrates is used to drive various other cellular processes, and one of the most important, the production of new roots, aka root hairs. Root hairs are important because they do the vast majority of nutrient absorption. What's more, plants need to constantly create fresh root hairs just as a chef needs to sharpen his knives every day. Low oxygen around your plant's roots basically sets off a negative domino effect. Without oxygen, there's no way of creating the energy necessary to maintain existing root cells, let alone generate new root hairs, which in turn leads to plummeting nutrient uptake. Well-oxygenated root zones encourage and sustain beneficial biology, and a lack of oxygen encourages pathogens and disease. So, how do we get more oxygen into the root zone? Take a tip from water culture hydroponicists. The undercurrent system by current culture grows plants with their roots submerged in nutrient solution. Growth rates and production are incredible. Crucially, this system supplies dissolved oxygen to the roots via an air pump and air stone bubbling 24/7. So, buy an air pump and an air stone, put it in your reservoir no matter what growing system you're using. Next, perlite. In your potting mix will also help to increase drainage and aeration in your plant's root zones. For instance, the Mother Earth Cocoa plus Perlite mix contains 30% perlite, which works wonders for your root zone, especially handy for growers using ebb and flow. Alternatively, you could choose non-restrictive growing media such as hydrogen-expanding clay balls that absorb far less water. Their spherical shape also naturally creates little air gaps, making it virtually impossible to overwater. Fabric-breathable pots such as GrowPro come in various sizes and also really help to keep the root zone well aerated, as well as stimulating the production of more root hairs through air pruning. You can buy various moisture meters to stick into your containers, but precision costs money. A less intrusive and cheaper method is to simply pick up the pot and get a feel for how much moisture it holds. Don't re-irrigate until it feels significantly lighter. When you do water, look for 20 to 30% runoff at the bottom so you know you're watering enough. Another thing, make sure that your nutrient solution is not too warm. Ideally, it should be between 66 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Any warmer than this, and dissolved oxygen levels will be dangerously low. If you find that your nutrient solution is too warm, consider a larger reservoir or hook it up to an aquarium chiller. Remember that overwatered plants tend to wilt, as do over-fertilized plants. So inexperienced growers often misdiagnose wilting as underwatering and compound the problem by watering even more. If in doubt, wait! Plants only wilt through underwatering when their grow media is really dry. Like I said, this will be really obvious to you if you simply pick up the pot. My best advice is to dial in your irrigation irrigation manually, get a feel for it, and then move on to automating it with a digital timer and pump. Getting it timed right takes some trial and error, but your plants will thank you for the regular meals. I'll stop there. Hit that red button and subscribe, please. It's free and it's really, really important to me. Almost too important. Just ask my wife. Now, if you want some more information on this topic, just say, "Go deeper, Everest," in the comments, or should our paths cross in real life, you can whisper it suggestively in my ear. Keep breathing and smile at everybody. Adios, amigos.